Welcome. So in this video, we are going to have a look at classes once again. So this time we have nesting of classes. So just as we know, we can do nesting of if and else. That is, we can have one if inside another if statement, or we have nested loops. So we can have one loop, let's say one for loop inside another for loop. So in the similar way, we can also nest a class inside another class. So in this lab, we are given the example of a library where we have to store the books. So it says a school library has tasked you to create software that would help the librarian to manage the number of books. So you decide to program using the object-oriented programming approach and have formalized the object of the program to be the author, book, and the stock. And you have created and defined the following classes to hold the information of the author and the book. So when you want to store the details of a book in a library, right? So what you'll do is you'll create a stock, right? And then in that stock, you will have a number of books. And each book will have different attributes as well. A book will have the ISBN, it'll have the publication year, it'll have the author, but the author itself is a complex object. The author will have the name, first name, last name, the author will have the address, and many other details. But for this example, we are only looking at the first and the last name of the author. So if I scroll down this handout, right, you will see that there is a diagram given. We call this the class diagram that basically shows the relationship between different classes in our program. So in here we have the author class, we have the book class, and we have the stock class. And along with this, you will see that there are some numbers written over here. It says 1 on this book side, and there's 1, 2, 3 on the author side. And then likewise on the other side, the stock class, we have this 1 written, and on the book side we have 1 to 200 written. So what this means is one book object, right, or one book can have 1 to 3 authors. So in a book we can have one author or 2 authors or 3 authors, right? So one book will have many authors, in this case 1 to 3 authors. And likewise on the other side, a stock will have 1 to 200 books. So in a stock we can store 1 all the way up till 200 books. So you will see that this stock class has the book class, and the book class has the author class. So they are nested inside each other. Inside the book class we have the author class, and inside the stock class we have the book class. So for the author class, we have the first name and the last name, and then we have the necessary getters and setters. We have the getter functions for the first and the last name. So when we call the getter function on the author object, it is going to retain the first name and the last name of the author. We have a setter function to set the name of the author. So if I call the set author function on the author object by passing the first and the last name, then this is going to initialize the values of the first and the last name for that author. Then we have the constructor. So the what the constructor does in this case is it initializes the first and the last name to a empty string, and then they are the implementation of the getter and setter functions. So get first name will retain the first name, get last name will retain the last name, and the set author function will set the first and the last name of the author. And then we have the book class. Now in the book class we have the ISBN, and then we have the author. Now you will see that this ISBN of the string data type, but this book authors array, we know this is an array because we have these I square brackets, and then we have a size written inside the bracket. So this array is of type author. And where is this author coming from? It is coming from this class. The array is of type author class. Then we have the book name, publication year, edition, publisher, and then we have the methods. So we have the constructor of the book class, and what the constructor does is it initializes all the string variables of the book class to a empty string. Then we have the setBook function. So what this does is it takes these many parameters, and these are all the parameters or the attributes that we have in the book class, and initializes the attributes of the class to the values that were passed in this function. Right, so you will see that setBook function takes the ISBN and it says this ISBN is equal to ISBN. So basically it is setting the ISBN of the object to the ISBN that was passed in this function, and likewise for the other attributes. Then we have a for loop. Now we'll come to this for loop in a while. Then we have the getter functions. So get ISBN, get book name, get publication year, edition, and the publisher. So these are the attributes and methods of the book class. Now going back to this for loop. So in the set book function, what we are doing is we are passing an array of authors. So for a particular book, if I want to set the details of a book, I will pass all the details of the book. And if I want to set the authors of the book, then I will also have to pass the array of authors. Why an array? Because a book can have 1, 2, or 3 authors. So I will take all the author details in this author details array, and then I'll pass that detail to the setBook function. And then what happens inside this function is we go over this author details function. So from 0 all the way up till size, and this size is passed along with the function. So this size is the size of this author details array. Then what happens here is we say this arrow book authors. Now when we say this arrow book authors, which attribute are we referring to? If I look at this arrow ISBN, so we are referring to the ISBN that is inside the book class. So in the similar way, if I say this arrow book authors, then I'm referring to the book authors array that is inside the book class, right? So I'm referring to this particular array. Now since that book authors is an array, I can access each of the indexes of the array using this indexing method. So what I am doing is at each of the indexes, right, for this book authors array, I'm calling the set author function. So for the first index of this book authors array, on that particular index, I'm calling this set author function to set the details into this book authors array. Now to set the details, I'll have to pass the first name and the last name, right, to this author object. But how do I get the first name and the last name? So that first and the last name is coming from the authors array that is in the parameter. So I'm saying from the ith index of the this particular array, you get the first name, and then likewise you get the last name. So this will return the first and the last name of the very first author in this author details array. So I'll take those details and pass it to the object in the class. So that is going to set the first and the last name of the authors into the class. So basically what I'm doing is copy the details from this particular array into this array. Then next we have a print function that is inside the book class, and this print function is basically trying to print the details of the book. So we print the book name, publication year, edition, and the publisher. Then says you have also created the following stock class to hold the information on the number of books in the library. So we have the author class, we have the book class, and now we have the stock class. And in the stock we have an array of books, right? So we will see that we have a array of size max books, right? And the data type for this books array is book. And then we also have a counter. So this is basically to keep track of the number of books that are stored in the stock. And then we have some member functions. So we have the constructor, and what the constructor does is basically initializes the number of books to 0. So initially there will be 0 books when the stock object is created. Then we have a add new book function. So we'll come to the details of this function in a while. We have the get book details, and we also have a get numbooks function. Now visually the classes look something like this. So we have the author class, right? And the author has the first name and the last name attribute. And then we have the setters and getters for these two attributes. So that is the author object. Then we have the book class, and the book class looks something like this. Now the book has the ISBN, it has the book authors, and you have seen that the book authors is an array, and that looks something like this. So we basically have the author class right inside this book class, and there are 3 of them because this book authors is an array of size 3. So the book class has the ISBN, then a list of authors, then we have the book name, publication year, edition, publisher, and as well as we have the setters and getters, and then we have the stock class. So in the stock class we have seen that we have the array of books and the number of books. So we have the books array, and the array looks something like this. So inside the books array we have each of these book objects. So what we have done is basically copied this book object inside the array. So each of the indexes of this books array has one book object, and you will see that there are many of them. All right, since this is an array of books, so each index will store one book. Then we have the number of books. So this number of books will basically keep track of the number of books that are stored in the books array. Then we have the setters and getters. Then we have some member functions. So we have a function called add new book, and the purpose of that function is to basically take a book object, right, and add the book into the stock. So what this function will do is, when we pass a book object, it is going to add a book object into this books array at the end of the array. All right, so this will add one more book to the array. And how does it do that? So if I want to add a new book to this array, I will have to add it at the very last index, right? So I'll just label the indexes over here. So let's say there are 7 books in our array. So the indexes are from 0 all the way up till 6. So this makes it 7. So there are 7 books currently in our array. That means the value of num books will be 7. All right. Now if I want to add a new book, then I'll have to add the book to the very last index. So what I'll do is I'll create one more book over here, right, and add that book to this new index. So that means my new book will go at which index? It will go at index number 7, right, because the 7th index is empty. So the new book goes at index 7, and that 7 is also the value of the num book. So what I can do is I'll first get the value of the num book, right, which is happening over here. So you get the current number of books, and which is the value of this num books, and then you go to the books array at that particular index. So I'll go to the books array, right, and then at index number 7, right over here, what I'll do is I'll add that new book. So I'm saying that in the books array at index number 7, I am assigning the new book. Now after we add the book, the number of books in our stock will increase. So now there are 8 books. So after that we need to increment the num books. So now the value of num books will become 8. So that is how you add a new book to the stock. Then we have a get book details function. So the purpose of this function is to take the ISBN as the parameter. So if I want to search for a particular book, I'll pass the ISBN to this function. This function will search in the books array for this particular ISBN, and once that ISBN is found, it is going to retain a pointer to that particular book. So let's say in our books array we have this many ISBNs. So the ISBNs will be some alphanumeric string. So I'll just write 1 2 3 4 for simplicity. 1 2 3 5, and then we have let's say 1 2 3 6. Now if I want to search for a book whose ISBN is 1 2 3 6, then what I'll do is I'll pass the ISBN, which is 1 2 3 6, to that function, and that function will go over this books array and look for the ISBN 1 2 3 6. So it will start from the very first index. It will get the ISBN of this particular book object. So if I want to get the ISBN of the first book, then I will do something like this. I will say this arrow books. So I'm referring to the books attribute of the stock class, right? So I'm saying for the books array at each of the indexes, right? Because I'm going over the arrays using a while loop. So I'm saying for each of the indexes. So let's say when I is 0, at index 0, I will get the ISBN of the book using this get ISBN function. Right, so this book object has the get ISBN function. So this will retain the ISBN of the book, which is 1 2 3 4. So I'll take that ISBN 1 2 3 4 and I'll compare that to 1 2 3 6. So if they are same, then I will retain this particular book object. Now since they are not same, that means this is not the book that I'm looking for. So in that case, I will go to the next index, so I++. So since this condition is false, this part will not execute, and I'll increment my I and go to the next book. So now I am at the second index, and I'll repeat the same thing once again. I'll get the ISBN and compare that to the one that I'm looking for. If they are same, then I will retain the book. Otherwise, I will go to the next index. Then once again, I'll get the ISBN and I'll compare that to the ISBN that I'm looking for. Now this time, since both the ISBNs are same, that means this was the book that I was looking for. Now this time this condition becomes true, and I will say that the book has been found. So I'll say book found is true, and the book was found at that particular index, which is, let's say, index number 2. And then after the while loop finishes, I will say if the book was found, right, then I will retain the address of that particular book. So the found index was I. So from the books array, I will go to the place where that particular book was found, and then I will retain the address of that particular book. And otherwise, if the book was not found, then we will retain null. So that is how the search function works. Then next we have a friend function called the print all book ISBN of the stock class. So this function is allowed to access the private attributes of the stock class and prints the ISBN of all the books in the stock. The implementation of print all book ISBN is as follows. And there is a note given that says this function is declared outside of the main function, not inside any class. Now one thing you will notice over here is inside the stock class we have the private attributes, and then we have the public member functions. And then we have something strange over here. We have a function declaration, right? This part we are familiar with this part, but we also have a keyword called friend over here. Now what is the purpose of this particular line of code? Now we know that if there is any function that is outside of a particular class, then that function will not be able to access the private attributes of any class. So if I want a particular function to access the private attributes of a class, then I will need to declare that function inside or under this public keyword. Only then these functions will be able to access the private attributes. But what if I don't have the function inside the public keyword over here, but I still want that function to access the private attributes of the class? So in that case, what I'll have to do is I'll have to give the friend access, or we can say we'll make this function a friend of this class. So this particular function will be able to access the private attributes of this class. And you will see that each of these functions, they are part of the book class. And how do we know that? Well, they are inside this public keyword, and also when we implement the function, we implement using this double colon, right? Or we say the scope resolution operator. So by looking at this function name and the keyword before that, we know that this particular function belongs to the stock class. But for this print all book ISBN function, we don't have anything as such, right? We don't have this stock class in front of this function. So that is why we need to give the friend access to this function, so that this function can access the private attributes of the stock class. So it says the school library has just purchased a new book, and the details of the books are as follows. So we have the details of the book given over here. And in order to ask the user to enter these details in your program, the following code inside the main function is created. So what I'll do is I'll open up my Visual Studio, and I'll copy all of those code inside my IDE. So I'll create a new project, empty project with C++. Next, I'll give the name as lab 6. I'll save it in my lab 6 folder and click on create. Then go to source files, right click, add, and click on new item. I'll add a C++ file, click on add. So I'll copy the entire code that is given over here. Okay, so I have copied all the classes. So I have the author class, then we have the book class, we have the stock class, and we also have the friend function. So I'll quickly indent this code and then we'll move forward. Okay, so my code is ready. So now let's have a look at the main function. So in the main function, what we are doing is we are creating an object of the stock class. So when I create the object of the stock class, then this is what we get, right? So we get something like this, and that object has all of these attributes and member functions. So the stock has the books array, right? And then in 10, each of the indexes of the books array has a book object. So the first index in the array has one book object, the second index has another book object, and so on. And then each of these book objects also has some number of attributes. So each of the books have the ISBN, the array of authors, and then the other details. And then each of the objects in the authors array is a author object. So the first index has one author, second index has another author, and the third index has another author. So this is how the classes are structured in the stock object. Then we are creating some temporary variables. So we have ISBN, first and the last name, book name, and so on. And these are just used to store the details when the user enters them from the keyboard. Now from here on, we are asking the user to enter the details of the first book. So it says the user enters the first book details. So we are having a num authors variable which is initially 0, And then we are asking the user to enter the ISBN of the book. So the user enters the ISBN, and then we capture the ISBN in the ISBN variable. So I'll run this code, and while we are entering the values, we'll also go over the code. So it says enter the book ISBN. So the details are given over here. So I'll enter this particular ISBN, right? Then I press enter. It says enter book authors, maximum of 3 authors, and enter the author name or the first name as negative 99 if you want to exit. Now let's see the code. So we have entered the ISBN, then it is asking for the name of the authors. So it says enter book authors, maximum 3, and enter negative 99 to exit. So when we enter the author name, we will capture the author name in the first name variable. And if the first name happens to be negative 99, that means if we want to exit, then we will enter negative 99. So the first name is not negative 99, that means it is some other value. So in that case, we will ask the user to enter the last name. So we have the first name, then we will ask for the last name, then we will capture the last name in the last name variable, and then we will store the details of the authors into this book authors array. So at index num authors, which is initially 0, so at index number 0, we call the set author function, and we pass the first and the last name that we have read from the user. Now that we have stored one author in the array, we increment the number of authors, and then we repeat the same steps once again. And we continue doing this while the number of authors in our array is less than maximum number of authors that we can store, which is 3. And while also the first name is not negative 99. So if the user enters negative 99, then we exit. So let's enter some name. So the first author is Tom Ken. So I'll enter the first name Tom, and then it says enter the last name. So you will see that since the first name was not negative 99, right, it is then asking us for the last name. So we enter the last name as Ken, and then it says enter book author. So now we'll enter the second one, which is John Alfred. So the first name is John, then we enter the second name, enter. It says enter the third name. So the third name is Carl. So we enter Carl, and then the surname. So since we have entered all 3, right, because the maximum number of authors is 3. So since we have entered all 3, then this do while loop has finished, and now it is asking for the book name. Now in here, since we have entered all 3, then the loop has exited by itself. But if you have 1 or 2 authors, then in that case the while loop will not exit. So in that case, you will have to enter negative 99 to end the while loop, so that you are not asked to enter the second or the third author. It says enter the book name. So the book name is Data Structures, and then it says the publication year 2011, edition is first, and then the publisher is ABC. So at this point, the book was added into the stock. So over here, all the data was entered, and after that, a book object was created, right? So something like this, we create a book object, right? And in the book object, we are calling this set book member function, and we are passing all the details that we had read over here, right? So we pass all those details into the set book function, and we know that this particular function sets the details of the book into the book object. Now at this point, we only have a single book object, right? Something like this. Then to add this particular object into the stock object or the stock variable, we can say, we will have to call the add new book function and pass the book that we have created. So right now we have this particular book and it has all the details that we have entered. And then if I want to add this book to this stock object, I will call this add new book function, and I'll pass the book, and that book will be added into the stock object. So at this point, the book has been added into the stock, and then we call this print all book ISBN function to print the ISBN, and that is what we are getting over here. And what this function does is print all book ISBN. It basically goes over all the books in the books array in the stock object, right? So from 0 all the way up till however number of books are there in the stock. Then for each of the books, right, for each book at index I, we get the ISBN, and then we print the ISBN, and that is how we get the ISBN of the book. Now if you want to search for a particular book, you will enter the ISBN. So let's search for this book that we have entered. So I'll enter the same ISBN that we have stored, press enter, and we get the details of the books. So it says the book name is data structures that we have entered over here, along with other details of the book. So this is a simple program that asks for only one book. So at this point, when we had added the book to the object by calling this add new book function, what happens is whatever value we had entered over here into the program, those values are stored in that particular object. So something like that. Okay, so this is how the book object looks like after we add a book to the stock object. So we had entered the details of a book, and we have stored that particular book into our books array in the book stock object. So this is how the data looks like. So in the books object, in the first index of this books array, we have the details that we have entered from the keyboard to the program, right? So we have the ISBN set, we have the authors. So the first author goes in the first index of the book authors array, second author goes in the second index, and the third author goes in the third index. Likewise, we have the name of the book, publication year, edition, and the publisher, and the number of books in the stock is now 1. So if I add another book, a similar detail will be stored at index number 1 in this books array of the book stock object, and the count will increase to 2. So this is how the classes are structured inside one another. So this is just to realize that in the real world, a object can have many properties, and each of those properties itself can have many other properties as well. And that is what is being modeled over here with the example of a library. So in the library, we have a stock, right? And the stock has some books and also the number of books that are there in the stock. And then each of the books in the stock has many properties again. So the book has the ISBN, the authors, book name, and so on. And then each of these books, each of the attributes in these books can have many properties as well. So if we look at the authors, the author has the first name and the last name. So in the similar way, we can model many more complex objects using this structure of the classes. Now the second part of the lab says the implementation in the main function allows you to enter the details of a book and perform some operations such as printing all book ISBN and searching the stock given an ISBN. Now we have to modify the main function so that the user can enter as many book details up to 200. So it says the comment that indicates user enters the first book details. So these lines of code need to be repeated. So if we go back to our code, now from the comment over here that says the user enters the first book, now this part of the code, I'll select this. So over here we are entering the details of the book. All right, so we enter the details, we create the book object, and we add it to the stock. Now all of this part is part of entering the book. So we enter the details of the book, then we create a book object, and we add the book to the stock. Now if I want to add another book, then I will have to repeat all of these steps once again. So what I can do is I'll indent this part of the code, and I'll put this inside a loop. So I can say, while some condition, I will ask the user to enter the details of the book. So the while loop ends over here. Now what will happen is this part of the code will be repeated, and the user will be asked to enter as many books up till 200. So what I'll do is I'll create one more variable over here. You can say num books. Initially it is 0, and we will ask the user to keep on entering the books while num books is less than 200. So while the array is not full, we will ask the user to enter the or enter another book. And once num books becomes 200, that means once the array is full, then we will stop executing this while loop and go to the remaining section of the code. Now another issue over here is the user may not enter all the 200 books. They may want to exit earlier. So we need a way to terminate earlier if the user wants to exit. So we can use a similar method to what is being shown over here. So we can ask the user to enter a sentinel value, and once we get that value, we can terminate the while loop. So after we get the ISBN, we can say if the ISBN happens to be, let's say, -01, then we break out of the while loop, right? We don't ask any more details of the book, and then we exit. So we can tell the user to enter the ISBN of the book or -1 to exit. Now let's run this code and see if it works. So there were some errors in the code. Conditional expression. So okay, so in here we are missing one equal sign. Run once again. Okay, so this time the program works, and I have just realized that I have missed one thing. So we'll exit for now. And that is that we also need to increment the number of books after taking the input for each book. Otherwise this will continue forever. So at the end, after we have stored the book, then we can, or we have to increment the number of books. Right, so run once again. So it says enter the book ISBN. So I'll enter some random numbers. Enter author first name. So I'll enter the same details once again, Tom Ken. So let's say I have only one author. So I'll enter -99 to terminate this inner do while loop. Right. Enter book name, data structures, publication year, edition, publisher. So now we are asked to enter another book ISBN or -1 to exit. So let's enter some more books. Authors. Let's enter some random authors. Carl. Negative 99 to exit. Book name. C++ for everyone. Publication year 2000. Edition first. Publisher, let's say ABC once again. So you will see that now we are being asked to enter the book details in a loop. So we have entered the first book, then we have entered a second one, and then now we are asked to enter a third one. So this will continue 200 times until the array is full, or if I have only a few books to enter, then I can enter -1 to exit. So when I enter -1, right, so the while loop exits, and we are given this printout of all the book ISBN. So since we have entered 2 books, we are given this output of the ISBNs that we have in our stock. So the first one was stored in the first book object, and the second one was stored in the second one. So in the similar way, if we continue entering, the other books will be stored in the remaining spaces until all the 200 books are entered, or the user enters -1 to exit. So now if I want to search for a particular book, I will have to enter the ISBN. So let's say I want to search for the second book, which was 1254 984. So we get the details of the second book that we have entered, which was C++ for everyone. So that was all for this particular lab. Right, so try to experiment with this code some more. Try to tweak the functions and see how they work. Try to do a hand trace, or you can also run the debugger to see actually how the details are being added to all the objects in the class. So that was all for this video. Thank you for watching.